I'm about to show you how to find unique, interesting, and free campsites all over America, but especially out west, by identifying a few of the signs on the road and the trails to get you out into a beautiful landscape much like this and even better. I have wandered into so many very cool, beautiful, and interesting camp spots, and I get a lot of questions from people asking me how I find these camp spots. And I've never really answered those questions well. There's apps out there that tell you where to camp for free, but a lot of them it's very confusing because sometimes you don't know what you're stumbling into. Sometimes it's bad information. So I want to give you a brief look at how I find spots like BLM camp spots, camping areas, places in the forest. And this is a really good example. There's a handful of people that come up here. I think most of the people that come up here are off-road enthusiasts, hunters. So there's not a lot of camping going on out here, but I just kind of stumbled into this. I'm running down the road, looking at all the turnoffs, all the dirt roads. I know there's some around here. I knew there was some around here. I've never been down this far looking for camp spots. But I kept looking, and I kept seeing gates and fences and no trespassing signs. And then I see this magical little road here. And the key is, when you see cattle gates like this, out west, everything I'm saying right now is out west, because everything changes once you cross the Rockies and start going into Kansas and, the Plain States and Texas. Everything changes. It's shocking how quickly it changes. But this is a cattle gate. If you look for these and you don't see no trespassing or private property or so-and-so's land or something like that, you're going to have an opportunity like this. And I'm going to carefully walk across this cattle gate. This cattle gate's not made for humans, but it's really made to keep cattle out, because they'll look at that and go, my hooves are going to go down that hole. I'm going to break my leg and die right here in this cattle gate. But I want to show you a couple of more signs to look out for. These floppy brown poles, a lot of them they put out to keep people out. So people have been going off-road here, and they have these floppy brown signs, but these are information signs. This one says no motor vehicles, but this one right here says something completely different. It's got rules, but it's basically saying, hey, you can camp up here, but it's 14 days. And I am on day, day 8 or 9, so I've been out here a while. But if you look closely at the signs, you can see evidence of BLM. And this sign in particular is what you always want to look for. You want to look for these signs. Kind of hard to tell these signs apart from the forest. Well, sometimes it's even forest, national park. They kind of all look the same. I want to give you a close-up look at a BLM sign, Bureau of Land Management. If you look closely at these signs, they all kind of look the same. This one's faded and falling apart. But this is a wildlife management area. Obviously, they have hunters up here too. I think there's at least one more couple in between the road and my campsite. But this is just a nondescript thing. And if you get into the habit, once you cross into the Rockies going west, just start looking at dirt roads. Look on your map. You'll see some areas. There's quite a few apps out there. The one I like is US Public Lands. It's free, or it's $1. I can't remember. It's cheap. It's very effective. It's kind of like Google Maps, except it shows you where public lands are. BLM, national parks, national forest, Corps of Engineer parks. Yeah, and here's another sign that tells you hiking and horses, but closed to all motorized vehicles. So apparently maybe this trail goes under the road over there. I'm not sure how much area out here is BLM, but I can tell you there is nothing on that roadway that looks anything like, hey, come camp here. I think that's the thing that's interesting about BLM campgrounds in particular, is they don't really advertise. Unless it's a campground where there's picnic tables and porta potty or a vault toilets, unless it's something like that, they don't advertise it. There's no signs that say, hey, camp here. So you got to be careful. You got to look. And, be on the lookout. Just look down these dirt roads, and it doesn't hurt. If you don't see a no trespassing, private property sign, there's nothing that's going to stop you from coming in here. And then once you get around the corner, you see these signs like, I may be home. Let me go see what's in here. Anyway, that's a good tip for the day. You know, these tips might sound like common sense for all the folks that live out west. If you've grown up around it, it kind of makes sense to everyone that's done it their whole lives. But I am certainly not one of those people. I had to find out by accident and pure motivation to find cool places to camp. And there are lots of these places out west. Sometimes it seems endless. Coming from the south, this is all a surprise for me, as we have very limited public land, and what we do have access to is very restricted, with lots of closed gates and roads, inaccessible by anyone except if you're on foot or horseback. It might sound like I'm complaining, but I'm just pointing out the differences and trying to promote the wonders of the West. I hope, like me, you get a chance to come out here and explore like I have, as my journeys have radically altered my life and pointed me in a new direction. There's more tips coming up and more camping adventures as I finish up my low-budget motorcycle camping adventure. I hope you'll join me. And if you got something out of this video, think about hitting that like button, the thumbs up button, and maybe even giving me a subscription. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.